Once upon a time, in a small Yoruba village, there was a beautiful girl named Fumilayo and her boyfriend of 2 years named Bode. They had planned a Christmas getaway to visit another tribe in Okanafon, a town in Akwa Ibom State, absorbing the rich culture and traditions. One day, Bode suggested that they visit a nearby town in Okanafon to experience their local market. Fumilayo, preferring to stay by the riverbank and enjoy the serene and cool environment of Akwa Ibom State, hesitated, but eventually she agreed to follow him so that they would go and look around. As they wandered through the market, Fumilayo's eyes were drawn to a handsome warrior from Okanafon. Instantly, she felt a strange attraction to him. She kept looking at the handsome warrior, flirting with him, and Bode was becoming increasingly embarrassed. He didn't know how to stop the embarrassment, especially when Fumilayo walked past the warrior closely and smiled at him, all in the presence of her fiancé Bode. Desperate to divert her attention, Bode suggested that they go somewhere else to buy some more items from the market. As they walked through the busy market, they met a shady man who promised Bode some rare herbs if they followed him to one shop at the corner. Fumilayo felt uneasy, but she still followed Bode, trusting him. When they got to the corner of the market, two more men appeared, and it was clear they wanted to rob them. The couple quickly ran away, heading back to the main market where there was crowd. They bumped into the Okanafon warrior again, and a strong presence scared the robbers away. He saved them. Feeling relieved, Bode invited the warrior, whose name was Akin, for a drink to thank him. Fumilayo and Akin started talking, much to Bode's annoyance. Sensing the tension, Fumilayo suggested that they start going back to their hotel, where they lodged. When they came out, it was very late at night and they missed their bus. Akin then offered them a ride in his car. Back at the hotel, Bode argued with Fumilayo, saying he didn't want to spend the remaining of their holiday in a strange village and that he didn't like how she behaved all through the day. He tried to convince Fumilayo that they should start heading back home. Fumilayo was not happy at all. She wanted to stay some more. She was determined to learn more about Akin, the man she just saw. Bode was so offended. He didn't know what else to do. Fumilayo was a grown woman. He can't force her to come back home with him. The next morning, as Bode prepared to leave, he tried to convince Fumilayo to return home with him, but Fumilayo refused, insisting she wanted to experience more from life and the new place she found herself. She told Bode she wanted to stay behind and explore Okanafon culture further. Bode tried to beg her not to do this to their relationship, but Fumilayo was sure that she wanted to stay back and explore what she hadn't had before. Heartbroken, Bode left alone while Fumilayo set out to find Akin. Fumilayo tried to find Akin. She learned from the locals in the village that Akin had gone back to his inner village. Determined, she made her way there. On her journey, she met a restaurant owner who had also settled in Okanafon after meeting a local man when she visited Akwa Ibom State. She shared in Fumilayo's experience, but she also warned Fumilayo about the hard conditions in Akin's village. But Fumilayo was determined to go on to seek her Prince Charming. The restaurant owner advised her to wait for Akin as visitors needed an invitation to enter the Okanafon village. After some days, Akin came to find her after hearing that she was looking for him, and they felt a strong connection. They spent the night together and then went to Akin's village. He introduced her to his family and their way of life. Fumilayo tried to adapt to the new culture. As days passed, Fumilayo's money ran out. Akin proposed to her and she accepted, but she needed to return back to her own village to tell her family and settle her affairs. Her family was upset and warned her against marrying Akin, but Fumilayo was determined, insisting that she had never seen any man like Akin and she was sure about her decision. Fumilayo stepped off the bus, her heart racing. The dusty village looked just like what she remembered. Fumilayo went back to Ukanafon in Akwa Ibom State to settle with Akin. She spotted Akin waiting for her, his smile very bright. "Welcome home," Akin said, embracing her. "Thank you," Fumilayo replied, forcing a smile. As they walked into Akin's family compound, Fumilayo noticed the curious stares from the villagers. She felt out of place in her city clothes. "Are you ready for our traditional wedding?" Akin asked her. Fumilayo nodded, pushing away thoughts of her parents' disapproval. The next few days were filled with preparations for the wedding. On the wedding day, Fumilayo wore colorful traditional attire, feeling both beautiful and conflicted. She got married without her parents present in her ceremony. After the ceremony, as they settled into their married life, Fumilayo began noticing troubling practices in Akin's village. One day, she overheard women discussing about another fellow woman who had given birth to a set of twins. They said that twins are not allowed and are not welcome in their community, and they had to sort it out with the elders the following day. Disturbed by this news, Fumilayo confronted Akin. "How can you allow such harmful practice?" she said. Akin looked surprised. "It is not for us to question. Twins are not allowed in our community. They are seen as bad luck." Fumilayo couldn't sleep that night, torn between love for Akin and her own values. Weeks passed and Fumilayo grew restless in the community. She confronted Akin because the money she had on her was going down. She told Akin that she wanted to open a shop. "A married woman's place is in the home," he said sternly. But Fumilayo was determined. Despite the resistance from Akin and his family, she found a small place and opened her shop with the help of her restaurant friend. Months had passed and Fumilayo's shop was thriving, but her success came at a cost. "Where were you all day?" Akin demanded one evening. "At the shop, as always," Fumilayo replied tiredly. "Are you sure?" Akin's eyes narrowed. "Or were you with another man?" Fumilayo gasped. "How dare you accuse me of cheating?" Their argument was interrupted by a sharp pain in Fumilayo's belly. "The baby!" she shouted, clutching her stomach. Hours later, Fumilayo held their newborn daughter. Momentarily, she forgot all their troubles, but the peace was short-lived. Fumilayo returned to her shop to find her shelves nearly empty. Akin has been giving away her shop items to his friends, her assistant explained. Furious, Fumilayo implemented stricter policies that only worsened tensions in their home. One night, Akin confronted her. "You have changed. You don't respect me anymore." Fumilayo shot back at him angrily. "And you don't respect my hard work either." As their shouting match escalated, Fumilayo made a decision. The next day, she visited a lawyer. "Are you sure about this?" the lawyer asked her, handing her the papers. Fumilayo nodded firmly. That evening, she approached Akin with the documents. "I am taking our daughter to meet my family," she said carefully. Akin was unable to read the forms and he reluctantly signed them. He didn't know he was giving away his daughter to Fumilayo. The next morning, Fumilayo boarded a bus with her daughter. As it pulled away, Akin called out, "I know you won't come back, will you?" Fumilayo didn't respond, but she cried as she was in the bus, and the bus carried her towards an uncertain future. Fumilayo went back to her parents' home in the city. Fumilayo stood in front of her parents' doorstep, her daughter clinging to her hand. When the door opened, Fumilayo's mother's face showed a mix of shock and disappointment. "What? Fumilayo, what are you doing here?" her mother asked. "Mama, I have left Akin," Fumilayo replied. Her father appeared behind her mother, his face stern. "So you abandoned the marriage you chose over our wishes?" Despite their obvious disapproval, Fumilayo's parents couldn't resist the charms of their granddaughter. They welcomed the child with open arms. That night, after putting her daughter to bed, Fumilayo sat with her parents. "I made a mistake," she admitted. "I should have listened to you." Her father sighed heavily. "What is done is done. Now, what will you do?" Fumilayo took a deep breath. "I want to find Bode." The next day, Fumilayo began her search. It took several weeks, but finally, she located Bode. When she arrived at his office, her jaw dropped. The building was impressive, clearly belonging to a successful business owner. Bode's secretary eyed her suspiciously. "Do you have an appointment, miss?" "No," she replied, "but could you tell your boss that Fumilayo is here?" Moments later, Bode appeared. He looked different, more polished and confident. Success had treated him very well. "This is unexpected. What are you doing here?" "I'm so sorry, Bode. I was foolish. I threw away what we had for nothing." Bode listened silently, his face unreadable. When she had finished speaking, he told her, "You broke my heart, Fumilayo. We were engaged. You left me for a man you have never even met before, just because he looked impressive." "I know. I regret it every day," Fumilayo pleaded. Bode shook his head. "I still care for you, Fumilayo, but I can't trust you with my heart again." Over the next few weeks, Fumilayo tried everything to win Bode back. She sent flowers, she wrote letters, and even showed up at his favorite restaurant. But each time, Bode gently rebuffed her advances. Finally, after another rejected attempt, Bode sat her down for a serious talk. "Fumilayo, please stop," he said firmly. "I value our history and our past, and I am willing to be friends, but nothing more. My heart can't take that risk with you again." Fumilayo nodded, knowing that he was very serious. She realized that some bridges, once burned, can never be fully rebuilt. As she walked away from Bode's office for the last time, Fumilayo felt a mix of regret and acceptance in her heart. She had learned a hard lesson about the consequences of impulsive decisions and the value of trust and love. This story teaches us to think carefully before making big decisions in life. It shows how important it is to understand and respect different cultures, especially in relationships. The story reminds us to stick to what we believe is right, even when it's very hard. We learn that talking openly with our partners is really important. The story also shows that when we break someone's trust, it is very hard to fix back. Our choices can affect many people, not just ourselves. Even where we make mistakes, the story tells us that it's never too late to try and make things better. It is good to work hard and be independent. The story also teaches us that forgiving someone doesn't always mean things can go back to how they were before. Lastly, it reminds us that what looks better at first might not always be the best choice in the long run. Overall, this story helps us to understand that we should think carefully about our choices and how they might affect our future and the people around us. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until next story, keep smiling. Thank you.